So today we're going to be making a little wash bag out of some old clothes that you have. I've gone for a corduroy, don't know what it is, a mini Bowden dress, which is just a little kid's dress. Thought let's upcycle this because obviously it's not going to make a full-on garment, but it can make something handy. So I've made loads of these. These are really handy. I have one for, gosh, like one of those things you put in your bag and you put like everything in it and you're like, I'm going to be that person that always has a plaster to hand or always has like hand sanitizer. So I made myself like a little version of this. So whenever someone needs something like, oh, I could really do with this, I'm like, you know what? I've got it inside my tiny little utility pouch in my bag. So I'm going to be making one of those, or you could use it as for a wash bag, or you could use it, you can upscale it or downscale it on the pattern that I link. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be using today. This is just a little corduroy. It's like a little needle cord. You can use whatever you want, but I'd say get a more sturdier fabric. And if it's not a sturdier fabric and you know how to quilt, then quilt it. Just means that it won't like flop down if you're actually going to use it for a bag. So that's what I'd recommend. So let's get started. So the first thing that you are going to want to do is chop into your pretty little kids' clothing. So just go ahead and go down the sides. If it has a lining or something and you're going to use the lining for the inside, then I'd say don't chop into the lining, just chop into the outer bit. If you had all the time in the world, then feel free, take your seam ripper to the seams, but I don't, and I just don't really want to do that. So I'm going to chop it, and then we can get two big usable pieces of fabric. Okay, so once you've got all of your panels cut out, then go ahead with your, then grab your pattern pieces and cut them out from your fabric. Okay, so once you've got all of your pattern pieces cut out, first thing that we want to do is grab the zipper rectangular pieces. I've got 4 here only because I'm going to make 2, but grab the 2 outers of those and the 2 lining pieces. Those, you're also going to need a little scrap bit of your outer fabric, and that's just going to go on the end of your zip like that, and it will tuck in nicely to the main body, and it just makes everything look so much nicer and more professional. Make sure that you're using a zipper foot first because we're going to be starting with the zipper. And grab some thread that matches your fabric. Grabbing your zipper, we are going to attach this piece of fabric to the top. So with the right side of your zipper and the right side of your fabric, just pin that into place. And then sew over it right across the end. Once that is done, then just turn your fabric over and top stitch it right across the top. Okay, so once that is all attached to your zip, then what we're going to do is grab one of your outer top zipper pieces and you are going to pin it all along the edge of your zip, and you're going to start from about here on the top bit. and you're going to pin that all along, and also pinning the lining piece to the back of the zip. Now if your lining piece has got a right side, then it's going to be right sides facing the zip. If that seems a bit too hard, then just do one at a time. Just pin the outer bit, sew that bit, and then pin the in lining bit, and then sew that bit. Once that is all sewn, then flip it right sides out and run this seam in between your fingers so it's nice and tight against that zip, and just pop a few pins in because we're going to top stitch it into place. And just make sure that none of the fabric on the lining is caught, and then take it to your sewing machine and top stitch it into place. Once that side is all nicely top stitched and it's looking super neat on the outside and the inside, then go ahead and do it exactly the same onto the other side of the zipper. So now that the zipper part is all done and finished nicely, just go ahead and grab your side panel inner piece and your side panel outer piece, and we're going to attach it onto the end where we added that little scrap piece. So again, right sides together, you're going to put the right side of your outer piece on top of the outer piece of the zip. So just pin it into place along the top and then sandwich it in between with the lining on the back as well, and then just pin it into place and sew it all together along the end at 1 centimetre seam allowance. Once that's sewn together, just snip off that excess chunk and then fold right sides out and then now you'll have your zipper and your base side part, and it'll be all flappy like this, but if you just pin that down, and we're going to go and top stitch across there. And there you have all your side pieces ready for the next step. So just pop that to the side and grab your 2 main body pieces. So the next thing is grab your 2 main body pieces and your 2 lining pieces. Because you don't want them moving about when you're pinning the side bits to the main bodies, we're just going to base stitch them around the edges. So wrong sides together, place your main outer body and your lining body piece together and just pin them into place and then base stitch them around the edges. So once that's all done, just lie it completely flat and fold it into half. So lengthways you're going to fold it into half. And just press where that half is and pop a pin on the top and the bottom. Let's do that again. Now, grabbing your zipper piece, you're going to fold your zip into half so the end part of your zip comes down to where your end of the top bit is. And you're just going to pop a pin where that half is. And then turn that over so it's right sides together and place the pins together on your main body piece and your zipper. So it looks like that. And then you're just going to gently pin this piece all the way around the outside. Now on the curves, you just want to gently ease the fabric around the curves, trying not to catch any fabric as you do it. Pin all the way around till about halfway along here, because then we'll have to do the next step. But also on the top bit, you want to be leaving this bit free, so only pin right up around the top. Okay, so once you've pinned around the whole thing but left those end bits, the reason you do that is because this was obviously, it wasn't calculated to how the size was. It's just a general pattern piece. So what you're going to do is find out where you need to chop down this fabric, because we're going to fold them together to make it nice and neat and so there's no raw edges. So gently place this piece where it is going to sit and do the same with this one. And then making sure that they're overlapping by about an inch. Where are my scissors? There they are. You're just going to cut that long piece of fabric down. Okay, so now that is cut down, we are just going to, I'm going to unpin this a little bit, just so that it gives me some movement with this fabric. But that just means that it's going to be exactly in the right place when we come to pin it, because we know where it sits. So, right sides together, the same as we did the first time. We're going to place the, well, for me, the corduroy piece of the outer side piece onto the end of the zipper and just pop a pin in it. Also, so the way you do this is it's facing like that, just roll it round onto this side and also pin it into place. And I know it'll look so strange, but trust me, it will turn out really nice and neat. Then just take that to the sewing machine and sew a 1 centimeter seam allowance along there. Once that is all sewn up, just chop off this really excessy bulky bit. And then turn the fabric right sides out. And now you should have a nice closed end, and it should fit perfectly to your main body. So just pin it back into place where you had just taken it off, basically. So once that is all pinned into place, we're going to sew it up at a 1 centimeter seam allowance all the way around the outside. Okay, so once that is all done, we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side of the main body. So we just grab those. Okay, so this one could be a little bit harder to line up. So what I do is I flatten down the sides and I just lay the piece that we've already sewn on top of the other body piece, roughly so that they're exactly flat on top of each other. And then without distorting the fabric too much, just roll out the zipper and place it exactly where it naturally lies with this fabric. And pin it into place. Ooh. And also do it on the bottom piece. From there, we're just going to pin it all the way around. Before I continue, there's one other thing. Make sure you pull back the zip a little bit so that you can actually pull it through the right way. Otherwise, you're going to be a little bit stuck. Once that's all pinned, just go ahead and sew it all up. Once that is all sewn up, just go ahead and clip some of the corners down just a little bit if they're looking a bit bigger than the rest, just so that the bias binding is holding on to all of the fabric, not just one rogue bit that's a lot bigger than all of the others. And then grab your bias binding, and we're going to start on the bottom part, so not the part with the zip, and open out one side of your bias tape and place it along your raw edge. And then you're going to pin that in place all the way around and then sew along the crease. Once you've attached it, go ahead and fold over your bias binding. If the seams are a bit too bulky, again, just chop them down a little bit. Fold it over. Ooh. So my camera died halfway through, but essentially what you missed was I've now bias bound all of the one side of the edge and then folded down the bias tape and pinned it into place, and I'm just gonna sew it up so as close as you can to the edge of the bias binding, and then you won't have any problems with it coming undone. Now that you've got the bias binding on both sides, just open it up. This can be quite tricky because the zip's inside. Just feed the zip out, turn your bag inside out. Oh, got a rogue pin. And now you have your very own, very neat corduroy wash bag. Thank you for sticking around to the end of my video. I hope that you followed along, and if you did, then please tag me at Bella Grace on Instagram, or leave a comment and say that you've done it or how it went for you. If there's something that's not quite clear, then please leave a comment as well, so that, or message me on Instagram if I can explain it better. There's a few more videos coming up, so please subscribe to my channel. It will mean a lot to me if you do, so that you can see what's coming up next on Bella Creates, so that we can make some more fun things for yourself and your home, or whoever you fancy making them for. Anyway, I hope you have a nice rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bye!